I don't know if anybody else spotted this, but I'd noticed it during the fight and I've waited until DAZN released their footage. Now, from the footage, it definitely shows that this match should not have been a disqualification and shouldn't have ended the way it did. Okay, for all of those that haven't seen the fight, have got no interest in it, what this is Logan Paul, huge, massive YouTuber, against Dillon Danis, who's basically an internet troll, has wound him up the whole time about his fiancée, relationships that she's had in the past, and really tried to get under his skin as much as possible. A lot of the boxing purists will have looked at this. I mean, we've got a Facebook page which has got a huge reach, Northeast Updates. Don't forget to click it, follow, subscribe to all of the stuff that we do as well. It's very split whenever we post about any sort of YouTuber boxing. Now, a lot of people can't separate the fact that this is not actual boxing. This is entertainment boxing. This is almost white collar boxing. Now, myself, I've seen a couple of MMA style events with influencers in Newcastle. There was a one just before lockdown. Featured, I think it was Marty from Geordie Shore, Dapper Laughs, a couple of others. A few of the fights were very much Marmite. It's a case of you're not going to get normal boxing where it's two people in their prime fighting against each other who have been doing this for years. It's literally a toss-up whether it's going to be a great fight, amazing fight, terrible fight, whatever. Which in my opinion is a little bit like boxing anyways. So many times you tune into boxing and you see people clinch, unexciting sort of matches. You don't really know what you're going to get. A lot of the big matches, it gets so much build-up and then you watch them and you literally, it's a snooze fest. Now, with this, you kind of know exactly what you're getting before you tune in. All it is people who have done a little bit of training, whether it's a year or two, compared to normal boxers who've dedicated their full career to this. What we've seen this night in particular with the two main events was pretty dreadful, if I'm being completely honest. I think most people will agree with that. The Logan Paul fight in particular was the worst boxing match I've ever seen. Now, I'm not a boxing connoisseur, so I haven't seen millions of different boxing matches, but from the ones that I've sampled over the years and stuff like that, all of the big fights, this is hands down the worst. It was not necessarily a one-sided match because that's what it was, but there was just nothing coming back. It was literally all attack against defense. It reminds me of the old Simpsons episode with Mike Tyson and Homer Simpson, where he literally just his ambition, his whole tactic of the fight is just to soak up all of the hits. That's all that was. It was so one-sided. It was so boring to watch. Towards the end, it literally just got absolutely comical. A little bit of a joke. He tried to lay down on the floor, trying to taunt him over, kind of like what you would do in UFC and Jiu-Jitsu. It became a joke of a fight. But one thing that I noticed was the time clock. Now, I'm going to pull this up as well, and I'm going to react. I'm going to put the footage on screen as well so you guys can see this, just to kind of show this is actually over the time allowance. So why is that significant? Now, really, to the general public, it doesn't matter if it ends in a disqualification. It doesn't matter if it goes a distance, because everyone knew how that was going to go if it did go to the distance. However, there is a huge amount of people that bet on these fights. And now, the significance, if it's a disqualification, which not many people, if any, are going to bet on a disqualification in the last round, compared to how many people will have Logan Paul or one of them on point at the end of it, is huge. There's big money spent. You see celebrities, influencers, especially on these bets. You see Drake, I think he won $500,000 off one of these fights. Huge money in it. So the bookies are the real winners here. Now, I'm going to prove why this shouldn't necessarily be the case, and I'm going to let you guys decide whether this was set up or not. It stinks a little bit. Now, I didn't have a bet on this. I tuned in. I've wasted £20, kind of like most of the people that watch this, unless you did the dodgy streams. But that's only £20. If you had money on this fight, you're going to be rightfully distraught, annoyed, furious with this. I'm going to put it on the screen now so you guys can see. So, firstly, I'm going to fast forward it. So, the clock that they have, now this is the DAZN official YouTube video that they put out. So the clock is going to be 100% accurate. They were the ones who were running the event. So I'm going to put it forward to 15 seconds here. So it's 15 seconds now. So if you count it down, the clock goes off in 10 seconds. But if you can count down 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It should have been called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Headlock here, 9. Still hasn't called for it. There's still no official announcement. Probably here is when you would call it. Once that guy kind of steps in. this is a fair few seconds over. Now, again, in the wider significance, not a massive issue for it. Everyone knew the way that the fight was going. But like I say, anyone who'd bet on this should be rightfully aggrieved with this. This is absolutely abhorrent, and it seems like he knew he wasn't going to win the fight, had nothing to lose. His credibility was kind of on the floor because he knows himself he hasn't made any effort to kind of do this. All he was doing is a swing every so often, kind of like a drunk man's punch almost, just hoping for that one little shot, but was never in the fight at all. But if you've got money on this, let me know below, because I would personally be furious if I had Logan on points for this decision and this is how it ended. Furious. So, now again, this is the DAZN website. Now, time it yourself, do the YouTube thing. You can see exactly for the seconds. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, the fight after that point did break down. It was a mass kind of brawl. Both security guards getting in, both team security guards getting in. It was just absolutely ridiculous, absolute joke, left the ring. Now, like I alluded to earlier, a lot of people do not have a tolerance for YouTube boxing, pretty much because it's got the word boxing in, and the connoisseurs of boxing group it together and expect boxing. This is not what you're going to get. But in Logan Paul's defense, he couldn't have done much more in this boxing match. He went for it, waited for it. He was even taunting, kind of inviting the pressure a lot. I think he comes out with a lot of credibility. I think both of them probably lose a little bit just because of the nature of the fight. Like I said, this was the worst boxing match that I have ever seen in my life. I'm sure a lot of other people who tuned in will feel exactly the same. It probably, the next fight up, which was obviously the KSI fight, is not too dissimilar. A lot of people now, before I jump into my thoughts on it, again, the Northeast Updates Facebook page, we put a post on this. I thought, not necessarily quite clearly, but I would have given that to KSI purely because of the knockdown point. However, we put it out on social media. A lot of people thought Tommy Fury had won that. A lot of people thought KSI had won that. It split a lot of opinion. KSI obviously had a rant afterwards. He felt that he'd won the fight. Again, be curious to know your thoughts below to see who you thought won it and exactly why. That's the most important thing. A lot of people will just write the one words. Why did you think KSI or Fury won that? And from that fight, what goes on to that? Does KSI drop a little bit? Does he have to go to Jake Paul? How does he go on? Does he focus? He's obviously got a million different other projects that he can focus on. Does he focus on that, or does he stick within it? And Tommy Fury, I don't really think he came out of that with a ton of credibility. A lot of people were expecting him at the start of the fight to go into that, pretty much demolish KSI. He was a much bigger guy, had everything on him. Came out of it, in truth, probably losing a little bit of credibility. When I watched that, I did not look at that and think, right, okay, Tommy Fury's going to finish this and going to go on and challenge for a world title like he thinks he is. His skill level to me isn't there. But again, with YouTube, this is literally a community where we're trying to get your opinions as well. So we want to try to get everyone's opinion. We want to engage with the comments. We'll be responding to every single comment in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts on everything discussed, exactly what you would do as well. And don't forget, like, follow, and subscribe. We are just a small local channel, so every single follow, comment, everything like that is hugely appreciated. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and follow us for more content.